It went faster than I thought it was going to go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Mastering Runeterra Squadcast. It's been a while. I'm Monte. I'm joined by Phansora, Prodigy, and we have a couple new faces here today. We got TankBuster, World's Qualified player. Huge congratulations to you, my friend. And new squad member, Yangzera, recently departed from Team Hydra. Yang, what's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Pretty well. All right, gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. It's been a while since the last one of these, and I know our viewers are definitely excited to hear our thoughts on the World's qualifiers, the World's meta, the new cards. What do you guys want to start with? I know some of us here competed in Worlds. Others helped prep for Worlds participation. And Tank, of course, made it through. Does anybody want to give a brief rundown of their Worlds Regionals qualifier experience?
Sure. I can start us off. So I was working with Prodigy, Mo, Manasia, and Nada, and Rizoth, and we created a very interesting lineup that it was probably a little bit of copium, but it was Timelines, Red Gwen, and Kaisa Sivir. And the idea was to just be like really greedy and just beat all the mid-range and control stuff, and just pretend like aggro wasn't really real, which let's face it, wasn't really. And then I think I hit a good number of good matchups, but also B was just like high rolling so hard in some of the others that it didn't really matter, which always feels good. So I think I played pretty well, but it was over pretty fast. So yeah,
that was the whole point of the lineup, was to build decks that could just draw so well that you didn't have to like work hard. Like when a Kaisa deck draws well, good luck. When a Timelines deck curves out, good luck. When a Red Gwen deck does its thing, I mean you're not beating it. So that was kind of our whole idea, was have decks that can just instant win, and then also have like a very cohesive matchup spread. I liked our lineup. We were on a little bit of copium. We thought we were crushing the Kayn decks. We thought we absolutely blew out Kayn. And then after a lot of testing, we found out that Kayn players could make it a little bit tricky for us if they knew what they were doing. But that was, I think, our only misread. I think other than that, we were pretty good on the spot. We had a lot of team kills. We had multiple team kills, which for a 5-person squad is kind of unfortunate. But
sometimes
yeah,
just
I was really happy. Yeah,
I have a question for you guys. How did you come to that meta read? How did you end up on the decks that you did?
So we did a lot. I mean, so my job was like lineup building and scouting. So I spent like an hour every day just going through dozens of AR profiles. So like on Master Tracker, you can see what everyone's playing. And so all the Brazilians were using best of 3. Like they were just doing best of 3 scrims. So everything was public. So you could just like see their entire match history. And so it was really easy to understand what was being played. And then a lot of other people were just still playing things on ladder or whatever. So we tried to do our best to like keep up with what was good. And then we looked at player tendencies. So like what do people tend towards? And then we did a lot of internal scrims. We probably played hundreds of games internally to understand like what's good, what's copium, that kind of stuff. But we were scouting Red Pup, we were scouting the Mastering Runeterra team and the Hydra gamers, and then EU was kind of the main 4 groups that I was looking at every day, what they were playing. And that was kind of where we got our read, was that we saw Kayn, we saw Bar, and we saw them a lot. And then we knew Red Gwen was going to show up. But those were the 3 that we knew there was going to be in droves. So I thought we actually made a pretty good read. I was pretty happy with our decks. There's definitely a few cards I would have like changed out in hindsight, but yeah. I mean I didn't qualify because I played a pretty poor set round 1. I had a favored matchup. To be fair, I low rolled pretty hard in the World's qualifiers. I didn't get the best things. Like I lost to like a 1 of Ruination, lost to an Aloof hitting my Buried in Ice. Like, I mean, good plays by my opponent, but things that are kind of outside your control. But I also made a couple of plays that were definitely suboptimal. I don't know that I would have qualified, but I think I had some pretty good chances to go far. But that's how it goes. You work hard, you make a good read, and then if you miss play on the day, it doesn't really matter how good your call is if you just don't perform. But something to work on, something to look forward to. I was joking with Tank. I'm notoriously bad in round 1 of tournaments. I don't think I think my win rate in round 1 is like 20 or 30%, and then my win rate after round 1 is like really, really high because like I just get really nervous for the first game, and win or lose, all the nerves are gone after the first game. But like something about game 1, I cannot perform well. So
I'm right there with you. I have missed so many top cuts in grassroots tournaments because I dropped round 1. And it was like, it's always such a winnable round too. It's like never anything equal court. You just, it falls out of your hands and you're like, how did this happen? How did I get here now? I feel you, Prodigy. I feel you.
So every tournament, even the smallest one, if I win round 1, I just like get hyped. I'm like, okay, we're winning the whole thing. Like I won round 1, like nothing's stopping me now.
Does that ever set you over the other way? Because that fucks me up the other way. When I win round 1, I suddenly start getting overconfident. I'm like, I can't lose. I can't lose. I have this read that doesn't make sense, but I have it. It's a soul read.
I think what it does is it just locks me in, and you like play confidently. So like you all of a sudden you're thinking about everything. Like it makes my reads and stuff really clean. Like when I get really confident, I play with the mindset that I'm winning this game no matter what they have, and so then I have a plan for whatever they could have. So it's like I'm gonna beat them. What if they have ruination? I'm still gonna beat them because of this. You start like thinking like that. I guess that's at least what it works for me. But
sometimes I get that way. More often than not, I just get overconfident and pro. Does anybody else have world experiences that they would like to share? Yang, perhaps?
Yeah, so my world's qualifiers are like, I'm not going to talk too much about the actual games. I'm going to talk a bit more about the prep. I did some prep with 3 different groups, one of which was yourself, Monte, Pat, Maytree, and was Russo. The second one was all of the Brazilians that qualified for Worlds, and I was telling them, play best of 1s, don't play best of 3s. We're getting fucking scouted because like patch day, patch day, I go play a coin tournament and I just register like triple bar lineup and I just making like 5 minutes, right? So my third bar deck is like Senna Kindred, PNZ Shadow Isles with like very dubious card choices, and like 3 to 4 days later, I'm like, I'm gonna just visit Majin base AR. Let's see what he's cooking up. And I look at his AR, his match history is like the decks I was playing like a bunch of days before, and I go look at people's ARs. And it's like they're just copying what the BRs are playing, just trying it out, and I'm like, dude, we should really start playing best of 1s. And they're like, no, why would we play best of 1? It's bugged. It bugs a lot. We need to like get disconnected. And I'm like, dude, just don't get fucking scouted. But shit happened. The BRs had a lot of team kills, and my third prep group was the EU Aegis team, which was Teddy, Korashi, and Kobachi. I was gonna bring the same lineup as they did. But I ended up bringing like a mix of all the 3 prep groups lineups. I kind of wanted to play Seraphine Ezreal Bandle, Cat, PNZ Targon, and Pantheon Varus, but then I just switched it up last moment. I played Double Cultists and Seraphine Ezreal, which didn't turn out very well for me because I respected Talia Ziggs too much. I think I should not have banned Talia Ziggs in the first round that I banned Talia Ziggs. Should not have been the deck. I think the deck was like very not good enough for the meta, but I just had like no reps against it, so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna die to Talia Absolver, but I just really wasn't, and like feels bad, but it's okay. I won round 2, and then like I lost round 3 because opponent played 2 Pharaohs, they got 2 Ruinations. I was playing Demacia. It just is what it is, Shit happens, but I was pretty happy with the whole prep and everything. We got 1 Brazilian in. There were like 5 or 6 different Brazilian team kills in the lower bracket, which is very disheartening. But at least we got 1 in. So like I'm very confident that he can take it.
All right.
I guess I'll go next.
Go for it.
So I prepped with both Master and Runeterra, and also my Aegis team, which is Mecantor and AJ. So both groups kind of came to the same conclusion, which was that Bar is the best deck in a vacuum, which I think is still debatably true. The problem is, like, the field was not in a vacuum because everyone was playing other Bar decks and other Kane decks. Granted, like, What Am I basically made top cut with this sort of double Bar FTR lineup. So I do think, like, all the decks in this are independently strong. I personally brought Bar, SI, Red Gwen, and FTR. Because Red Gwen had such a showing in EU, and it was just also, like, really good at facing all the other Bar decks. I'm pretty happy with the prep. I think we tunneled a little too hard, but I think, like, the general process we went through was still pretty good at just, like, refining the decks that we had. And I got to beat MTuck on stream, which is kind of funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I do? I helped Yang out a little bit, mostly through our Aegis prep week after week. And I had the absolute pleasure of casting alongside Boulevard and Jay Dosa. We did the broadcast ourselves. It was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. I didn't think I was going to get to be a part of Worlds in any way, shape, or form, and Boulevard was kind enough to bring me onto the team and let me be a part of that. It meant a lot to me. I'm really, really happy that I got to participate in that. I hope the people that watched it enjoyed the show. It was a 2-day thing. First day, I got some harsh feedback, which was fair. It wasn't inaccurate feedback, but it wasn't even harsh. Harsh is harsh of me to say, to be honest. It was fair feedback, but it was critical. Nothing obscene or anything like that. Just I didn't come out of the gate strong enough. I wasn't energetic enough. I wasn't bringing the energy that I should have been bringing for a Worlds environment. And you know what? Looking back on it, thinking back on it, I think that was a very, very fair criticism. I took that to heart, to be honest. I haven't received criticism like that about my casting before, so it was refreshing to get some feedback for once in my life, because nobody ever gives you feedback as a caster. You got to find it yourself. But not only that, this was something that I really, really wanted to do, and I really wanted to put on a good show for. Also, you know, Boulevard is kind of the GOAT of casting, and, like, he was kind enough to bring me on. Shouldn't I be, like, showing up? And I can't sit next to this guy if I'm not bringing the same energy. So I came back swinging the next day. Told me he was happy after the show. I think I did a lot better. I had a lot of fun with it. We saw some really good games. Yeah, all in all, great experience. Hopefully next year I can be part of it again. Hopefully next year I can be a part of the main broadcast. I don't know who is part of the main broadcast, but I can say that I definitely have not been hit up. Riot, you should hit me up. People like my casting sometimes, so I'm told. But yeah, that was my Worlds experience. It was great. It was good fun. Okay, next topic. What do you guys want to move on to? We had a balance patch where Rally was changed, and that was kind of the most impactful thing of that balance patch. I know we have some Demacia players in here that might have a thing or two to say about that.
It's really weird because now you can't end games. Like, you just load, like, there's not a good way to convert board into winning now. And, like, it's crazy. Like, Demacia used to have, like, the Rally region identity, but now you can play the same. You play Shumpo, same amount of mana. You can play Blood in the Water, same amount of mana. So it's like, what are we playing Demacia for? It's like for challengers and Vayne, and that is like Vayne is the new Demacia identity, which is fine. And, like, Darkin Aegis is really good, but it's just weird. Like, the power level is so low right now. So it's fascinating. The new Demacia cards are pretty interesting. They printed the new 4 Demacia plus Rally card. That card looks pretty interesting. But
I have a hot take in response to that.
Yeah.
So I think that these Rally changes are good for the long-term health of Demacia, and is also a good reason why we should have rotation in the game.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with it getting nerfed. Like, I think Rally was very, very strong, and I think it oppresses certain things, and nerfing it is
Well, it's
fine.
like
but you just
Demacia
need to,
was
like,
the
put
rally
power
region.
level in other spaces.
And like more so than other thing, like you can't really say that Ionia was the deny region, because even though that like even prior to like having Rev negation, while that might be true, that's not where the power level of the region is necessarily coming from. So much of the power budget of Demacia as a whole was all pushed into being able to rally for 4 mana, or even 3 mana previously, and it made so much of other Demacia cards kind of mid, because you couldn't print other superpower. I mean, Vayne kind of came in and Demacia got pushed away, or Rally got pushed away. So it's like a trade-off there, but like it limited Demacia's power budget when you could rally for 4 mana. But
Well,
it would be so much more elegant if you could just rotate out these cards. Because
yeah,
they've been slowly twisting the knife into every single rally thing that Demacia has for the past year. And like, it must suck for any Demacia rally player. It's like they just rotate it out. It's so much more elegant of a solution than, okay, next year we're gonna move Golden Aegis to 6 mana, but we're gonna give you +1/+1. How does that sound?
I just
I mean,
remember 3 mana fast speed rally.
Yeah,
That was
and
a banger.
that wasn't
Yeah.
that wasn't as much of a problem though, because the stats weren't as crazy. Like what happened
It
is
was a
we
bigger
printed
problem, I would argue.
It was like
Okay, so-
Bannerman was buffing itself.
Yeah,
Hecarim-
I mean, there was really
Hecarim
good cards,
did
but
that- was summoning 3/2s.
yes. So like the problem with Demacia has always been the regions that are paired with it, right?
Yeah.
Because the power level is tied up in, but like as we get more and more stats, so like as Kaisa and Pantheon come out, these decks that have really big, efficient, powerful units, that's what breaks Rally. Is these big statistics that can end games with multiple attacks. And then
Yeah, but
we use
think about
Rally as a means
Beta
to abuse
Hecarim.
those.
Think
Yeah.
about Beta Hecarim and his effect comparative to every other champion in the game at that point in time. 3 mana
Right.
fast speed rally was so much more broken in that deck than any rally that we've seen since,
Yeah,
except maybe
right,
Tumble.
yeah.
Tumble is like the equivalent to 3 mana fast speed rally. It lets you do the same thing. Rally on defensive turns, rally on offensive turns, whenever you want, the moment you get an action back. But it's
do
not
it,
quite
do
the
it,
same.
do it scouts and
Yeah.
do a scout and
You could deny your opponent an action, right? They'd attack, you'd rally, and just take the attack, open attack back, and suddenly they're dead. It's just absurd.
Yeah.
I'm glad they've changed rally. I think it's a good thing that they're moving the power level into other cards. I really like the looks of the new rally. The new finisher card is like my definition of what a finisher card should look like. It has a big effect. It is good on offense, it's good on defense, and it's
a good card.
appropriately costed, I think. It's a really good card. Yeah.
Actually, I was looking back through the past 2 sets, so Darkin and Worldwalker. There's been like no playable finisher cards in either of those 2 sets. There's been
Tibble.
one. Sure, but like I'm thinking of like the high end stuff that they print.
Yeah.
I was looking
I
through
know.
all the cards, and I think there was like one that was playable between both of those 2 sets.
What about a Warden of the Tribes?
it was Abomination,
That
A-Bomb,
guy-
right? That was
Yeah.
the last good finisher. we had.
Yeah, it was A-Bomb, and the next one's like Winding Light as a finisher.
Tank,
Tank,
what do
the
you think?
Tribes is a banger card, though.
Oh yeah.
Or sure.
No, that's the secret world
Sure.
tech. I can't leak, but
Yeah.
Hint Aatrox Warden.
Well, I
of
just
the
meant I
Tribes
meant
is
about
my-
Rally getting nerfed in general. What do you think about? Do you? Because you will abuse Demacia, but you're not a Demacia simp. Like you're not.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be an interesting meta. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get
Yeah.
some more reps in.
Should we talk about
So-
the early access? So like me and Tank have early
Yeah.
access, and it's been a lot of fun.
You guys are technically not allowed to stream or record anything.
Mhm.
Okay, so
we're
we
allowed
won't
to talk about the
anything.
cards. We're allowed to talk about the cards. They've released them, right? So
Yes.
that's fine. I don't want you guys to spoil any of your world's prep, obviously.
No,
so I'm not
we
going to
won't-
ask
we
you
won't
for
leak
like,
that.
what do you think is strong? What should everybody play? No, I'm not. keep that.
We can just say that the
No.
card that is printed after me is just the most broken thing in the world. Like they
Monte, this
gave
is
me
the
a second
perfect-
card in the game.
I think
It's the perfect platform to bait people.
yeah, I think that card's not talked about enough.
Yeah, redeemed Prodigy. They're just
Yeah.
setting up.
Yeah.
They're setting up my second seasonal championship. We're just. we're
I
gonna
want to
them
talk
for it.
about that card for a little bit because I have heard a lot of people say that card is bad, and I can't fathom it. Okay, it doesn't have Hallowed on itself, so what? If you attack once, it's 2 bodies dealing 4 damage across the 2 bodies,
Yeah.
which is more than the 3/1. Sure, the 3/1's not being blocked about half the time, but if you get a second attack in with this thing, which may or may not happen, you're already
The
way
card's
ahead.
good.
I think it's phenomenal. Like, there's just no way it's not included in every Hallowed deck.
See, I'm not sure about that. Because the thing with Gwen is you're so tight on space. It's a good card.
It compares to Opulent Foyer. So there's like a bunch of trade-offs. You know, it's cheaper. You get a 2/2 as long with it, but it's not quite as recurring because it's very easy to kill with 2/2. So
Mhm.
I don't know if it's bad. I don't know if it's like a auto include 3 of. I think you're gonna be playing not a whole lot of copies because a lot of the other cards that do this type of summon a Ghastly Band are almost completely out of the Gwen deck. There's like very few that you actually run.
Because
I
it
was
doesn't give
thinking more
Hollowed
like
itself.
aggro.
So if it gets pinged with like Mystic Shot, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I was thinking like
Isn't that?
aggro could run it.
Yeah. Aggro can run it for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, or the
Maybe.
Iceborne Ghastly Band deck, right?
Yeah. That's the new deck, right?
That actually sounds
Mad
really
Scientist
spicy.
Shotox at it again. That does sound really spicy. Do you have enough Ghastly Band cards to make
Oh,
that
you've
work?
got
I guess
plenty.
With the Foyer,
got a
you
lot.
must.
Yeah, for you
must.
get some every turn, and then you've got Strike the Band, you've got Conductor, you've
Conductor
got
of the
this
Mist.
guy, the Prodigy. Yeah, plenty of ways.
All right, Shotox. As the resident Mad Scientist, what card from the new expansion sticks out to you the most?
Oh no, there's actually too many.
I know there's a lot, right? There's a lot of fun
Yeah.
ones in this. I
How
haven't played
fa-
the game in like a month, but I'm excited to mess around with this stuff.
Yeah,
Built
like,
so many bad decks.
Like a lot of things got like a little bit of everything, so to speak. So like there's a lot to like play around with. The most interesting is probably I don't know, probably a Shadow Isles thing I like a lot. The Deathless Knight. It's probably bad, but I like it.
That's cool.
The Shurima card, the unit, the Rock Bear Shepherd, seems okay.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
think
try
that
that
one's
one.
very interesting.
I think that one's like very broken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You think that's broken?
it seems really broken.
What would you
Because-
play it with?
So like, I think it's like not actually broken, but
Mhm.
Naturalist plays are like so tempo oriented because you naturalist something and you make so like say you naturalist a sarcophagus and then you have the rock bear and just like everything times out because you keep summoning stuff and you keep ticking down and then you just like get like 4 units in one action and they're all like 5/5s.
It's good with like Auction Horde too, because literally every unit you summon from like your Darkin, from like your
Yeah.
bloodletters is taking down
Auction
your
Infinite?
horde.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I hope not,
They're
dude.
notorious.
Oh, before
Yeah, the
someone
We're
was
terrible.
Auction
We're the
Horde.
worst.
Oh my, that's what you think of? I'm just thinking I want to just like
Yeah.
keep my horde down fast.
It's always us.
Look,
It's
any-
always us.
Anything that says reduce countdown.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
the craziest is just with the naturalist, right? Because you go landmark on 2, you play this on 3, and then on turn 4, like you said, you get 4 units, right? You get double rock bear plus naturalist plus, I guess, this thing. But
Yeah. It's interesting for sure. There's a
Yeah,
lot
I mean,
of
if you
really
played
cool cards.
if you played the 1-mana 2/1 that summons a bomb, you play this guy
Yeah,
on turn
yeah.
3,
Yep.
and you naturalist,
or even the
you
2-mana
just
spell to
huge.
ping something off. Drop the bomb.
Drop the
Oh,
bomb.
yeah.
Put a
It's
landmark on
it's a
your board.
really
Yeah.
cool. It's a really cool card. I think it takes a lot. It's gonna take like a lot of synergy, and it's gonna need the right place. And then there's even like the new acolyte card that they printed. That like it's the like you get.
I don't like the
you
looks
get
of that one.
A lot of people don't. Okay, but like hear me out. Like it's 3
I think
mana.
it's okay.
It's 3 mana for a 3/2, which is
Mhm.
not great, but it's not that bad.
It's okay.
It's a landmark destruction. and then you can do it over and over. And like, I don't have time to like sit down and like build this thing out and like, because a deck like this takes a lot of time, and then like you decide that it's probably bad, right?
It's
But
just like,
it's cool
when I
because
see this card,
the deck could already run a lot.
this card reminds me
It goes
of
infinite too.
Death Ray.
Like, I think if it was like top 3 cards that it shuffled, it would be like very close to viability. Since it's top 5, I'm like kind of skeptical about it. You know,
I feel skeptical about it because of how Death Ray works. And Death Ray is a card that it's fine. You know, the card's okay, but oftentimes you have better things you can do in your deck, and it just serves to brick your next few draws. And if you're just getting like, you know, a 3-mana 3/2, and then
it's
I get a
weird,
3-mana
like,
4/3.
We're like trying out stuff while doing world spread, because like while this Demacia card exists, it's very hard to like try to do stuff because you're trying to make viable stuff, and it's very hard to be viable when you're like, you need to be able to contest the board so you don't get champion strength on turn 5 and you just die. Because like it's not only better for Demacia, it's like you preemptively rally because you only give your opponent 1 action after you rally. The scout attack, I mean. And it's more stats for like less mana. It's just kind of like, it's difficult to try to build stuff when you're in the test realm because you kind of want them to be paired against Demacia and just can't.
Yeah. I think to play around with a card like that in the test realm, you have to have a very solid idea of what the meta is going to look like, and that's very hard to do. And then not only do you have to have a solid idea of what the meta is going to look like, you have to have a solid idea of here's where I want my deck to start with this. But my biggest issue with the card is that it shuffles into the top of the deck. I understand that it's recurring value, but like Phansora said, with Death Ray, it just ends up being bricky. I could see it maybe working if you're running like a predict heavier shell that you can then switch your draws out. Maybe I could like it. It is a unit on the board consistently as opposed to a ping like the removal from Death Ray. So like there's value there.
You need a draw
is a recurring
you
unit.
need like the
that
cycle.
That doesn't really hold.
Yeah.
But these units grow, don't they? These units
grow.
actually.
They
grow every time.
grow.
I think they grow way too slowly for what you're trying to do. Like even if you're throwing
I mean,
all in on this,
like,
top 5 is like
kind of try to play them with the Legion Deserter, I guess, because he also gets buffs.
Dude, why did we nerf Legion
And,
Deserter?
like,
Can I get my boy back?
I know.
And then
I
like,
know.
And then like you play like Trifarian Assessors as your draw engine, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird.
Can we ever just like
Maybe you play
start playing
Sands
Legion
Time
Deserter
as,
Atrocity
like,
again?
it's like okay.
Yeah, sure. Nothing's been stopping you. Go ahead.
Go play some
It
Legion
just
Deserter
feels like
Atrocity.
this grows about as quickly as Legion Marauder.
I mean, you
is
have
what it feels
Ruination
like.
for the champion strength.
This feels like it grows about as quickly as Legion Marauder, and that card is unplayable. I know there's differences because you have to attack with it, and that's a little harder. But I think the speed at which you're putting on pressure with these growing units feels about the same. And that
It
feels
needs
too slow.
Overwhelm instead of Fearsome. It needs Overwhelm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Fearsome is not a
they're
closing
never gonna
keyword.
give it
That's the whole
Overwhelm.
thing. Like when
Yeah,
when they change
Wastewalker.
those keywords-
Wastewalker's your overwhelm. You play Wastewalker. It's my favorite card. There you go. I'll jump into the test realm later and brew it. We'll see what happens.
They need to make Rolling Stones 2 mana. Change my mind.
That would be way too broken.
No.
That would be busted.
Inside a
Come on.
shrine
No,
Simpson.
maybe
I don't know.
if they made it 2 mana, 2 landmarks, I think it would be fine. I'm
Do
okay
you want
with that.
Talia Malphite to get even better?
2 mana, 2 landmarks.
Wait,
I'm
Rolling
fine
Sand-
with that.
2 mana, 2 landmarks. Yeah, that's what it is now. It's 3 mana.
No,
Is it?
and draw 1.
No, it's 3 mana, right?
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
3
yeah,
mana,
yeah.
3 landmarks, isn't it? Am I
No,
tripping?
3
Am
mana, 2 landmarks,
3 mana,
draw
2
1.
landmarks.
3 mana, 2
draw one.
landmarks,
Yeah.
draw 1.
No, then it could be 2 mana. I'm okay with that. It's fine.
Yeah,
What?
it's not that broken right now.
What?
I thought it gave 3. I thot it gave 3 landmarks. I'm okay with that. Buff it.
Okay, there's
It's a bad
No.
card.
there's
It's a
no
good
way
card.
you're
There we
agreeing
go,
with
Monte.
Prodigy.
I know it's a good card. The amount of pressure you put on just by throwing that card down, your opponent suddenly goes, "Fuck! I can't play my champion now. I got to play this other card I was hoping to save, and then not what I was hoping to save." Shit.
Tank could give insights into our scrim group, but I'm the guy who's on all the optimism and all the copium. But I will come up with the broken decks, And then Tank's the one who just plays
Prodigy's-
the old
yeah,
decks and just
so-
beats us into the ground.
Friday just wants to play triple Shurima again.
Yeah, so Tank,
And Drew's also
what's
the guy
the
who
worst,
thinks every
the
single
worst
idea is-
thing you've tried?
There's been some really interesting decks I've been playing this Worlds patch. I will say with the new decks, but I mean, like, honestly, I'll not talk about that as much because potentially like leaking Worlds prep. But for the Worlds qualifiers, we got to a point where we're seriously considering like mono Shurima, Ziggs Talia, so that way we get the disc. And we can use that to destroy or progress our landmarks and whatnot. So
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds familiar.
I've played that. It's a fun deck.
I wanted to, for the record, I wanted to bring Disc to Worlds qualifiers, and I was beating everyone with it, but Drizzoth wouldn't let me, and I think it's fine. But I was beating aggro, I was beating literally everything with Disc, but
You
my
should've
blaming
brought it back.
Blaming someone else now, huh? You should have just brought it.
You should have brought it.
Yeah.
Not enough of a
Someone
Giga
qualified,
Chad.
dude. The guy qualified. The one guy who brought Disc, I think, qualified for Worlds.
Aragorn.
Yeah,
Aragorn brought Ziggs Talia,
yeah.
Timelines, and Sundisk, and qualified.
The Greek.
We
homie.
tested Ziggs Talia. Stats were great. Matchup tables were great. Deck lost to everything. Even the good matchups, it was losing. And I don't know.
It's because you
Like-
guys weren't playing the aggro version. That's what's wrong. You had to be 3 Minefield, 3 Unleashed Energy, 3 Safety.
yeah. No, I probably played
yeah.
about like 30 games of Red Gwen into our lineup, just smoking every single deck until we finally agreed, like, this deck we need to be playing. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of convincing
we dropped
this
Ziggs
Prodigy
Talia.
guy took.
Honestly, though, the Mark of the Isles tech was huge.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Teching Mark of the
That
Isles
was-
for our Red Gwen deck, that was a
So
game
good.
breaker.
that changed a lot of things for that deck. I couldn't believe how much harder it was to remove the Katarina, and even though it was a one of, they always had it in every scrim I played. I don't
kept
fucking
it with
understand.
a lot of my mulligans.
Mhm.
Just always there, every game.
I will say we
Same
haven't. I
except
don't think we
opulent
have-
foyer.
Yeah, the foyer's not bad. We played one of those. I do
Swear
want to
to
say
God,
the card
foyer
looks kinda
versus
cool
bar.
is the new Poro.
Foyer-
The new Poro card.
Ooh.
2 mana
The
drop,
one that
3 mana.
I just want to play it
gives you
with
the
Tree.
Poros?
I just want to play it with Tree, dude.
The,
Yeah.
It's not good, but like
the Ryze support
man.
card.
I built it without Tree, and it actually felt like okay.
I actually think Bandle Freljord Poros is probably not that bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I think it's
Yeah.
probably not that bad, especially with the amount of buffs that are available to Freljord now with Spirits Unleashed and whatnot, and both Bandle and Freljord are getting good
Spirits
equipment now
Unleashed.
too.
Spirits Unleashed
Yeah,
Poros.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
You know, it could be worse. There's also, a draw 4 Poro card, and we're hitting critical mass of Poros now.
Let
It
me
could be
see.
worse.
We get to play that
Raffle.
other
Yeah,
the
the
one mana
list I-
1/1 Poro with 3 keywords.
Yeah, the list I had that new Poro. I had Spirits Unleashed, Big Ol' Dust, and Poro Stories, and Nora. Nora like turbo levels in it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Well, that actually
Oh.
sounds good. Oh my
We
god!
might have to go try that. I
Alright.
won't waste Tank's time. But
I will
I'll
add
try
though,
that.
out of
So when Poros wins
out
World,
of
it
all
was
the
me.
decks that shut up,
yes.
That's it. All right, you guys heard it here first.
dude, out of all the decks that Shutouts played, that was the only one that beat Ryze.
I mean, it's just the best
So
deck.
Ryze
in the game.
is
What can I
just
say?
the best deck in the format.
The
Ryze is
only
tier 1.
Okay, so like
Yeah, have we
Alright.
talked about Ryze yet?
I managed to somehow make Ryze work against Demacia like twice. It still has like a negative win rate against Demacia because you can't really deny the spell, but it's like very close to being playable, and like as long as your opponent doesn't have like a win game button, you can just if you build the deck in like a clever way, you can just throw it out and just kill your opponent by turn 7,
Wow,
turn 8 max. And it's
With
really
Ryze?
weird
that's shocking.
with Ryze.
Interesting.
What's your second
Yeah,
region
like-
that you're playing?
It's It PNZ.
So I assume you're going into like protect package.
And like
Yeah, it's just bar abuse. What's new?
it's
Yeah.
no, it's not bar abuse. Come on, dude.
Why not? We get one.
All
We
right,
get one man of
it's
Wolverines.
victor abuse. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like victor abuse because so like you can use bar. Of course, I'm using bar, but like you don't want 2 bars in the board. You want like 1 bar and 1 victor because the bar is not discounting the delver.
Mm-hmm.
Delve. I think it's delve.
Oh yeah.
The victor is so like. So like you get 1 discount from Victor for the World Rune and 1 from Bar, so they cost 0. And Victor is discounting the Delve. So like you get to turbo flip the Victor because when you play like the third rune by like turn 4, he's already at 6 out of 7. So like he flips very, very fast. And like you can kind of cheat the 5 runes out and just ignore what your opponent is doing and just win the game. Sometimes you get just rolled by Demacia because it's just naturally like Demacia just play stats. But you just destroy any kind of slower deck. Like if the deck's not winning by turn 7, you're just killing them, and it's ugly.
Do you find that
it's
Ryze with
concerning,
Spellshield is
I
enough
guess.
to like beat Vilefeast like Vengeance and stuff? Because if they kill your Ryze though, then like aren't you really sad?
Yes.
You are beating them, or you're, like,
you can
you're
play
really sad?
Entreat. You can play Entreat in the deck.
Okay.
So like I'm playing 3 Ryze 2 Victor splits, so like you have like more Entreat odds.
Okay.
And I'm playing 2 Entreats for like a slower matchup. Of course, you can play like less if you're not facing Vengeance. You can beat Phlox by like cleverly saving the heal rune for like later and stuff. Of course, Vengeance is hard, but you have Entreat. You have like you have a lot of draw. You have like Drum Solo. You don't play Ionaka boards because you don't have the board space. Like you play almost no units because you don't have the board space. You're just like cycling these runes, and they're like good enough so you can stall the game until you assemble the combo.
Sounds cool. At least worth checking
My
out.
predictions for this set are so off base. I looked at the cards. I was like, Ryze, gonna be a region champion. Not gonna be played for his win condition ever. Aatrox sucks. Way too slow. Kayle, cool as hell. Kayle is cool as hell.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong about that one. That one's on point.
No, that card's cool. It's just not good.
It's so well designed.
If it just didn't
Very
say round
flavorful.
start on it.
Yeah. The round start really
Yeah,
sucks.
just round start.
Yeah, I didn't
If it was even like round end, but round start is.
I didn't realize it said round start until Monte said it before the Squadcast. So I thought you could slam Kayle and then attack with your 5 wide and level Kayle then, which would be so good.
Nope. Sad.
Yeah, so what? Just Battle Fury her and she gets double attack, level up right away? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
There should be some kind of other check for that. Round
That'd be
start is a
funny.
little bit too harsh, but I don't know what other check you can put in.
Man,
I mean,
It could be like round end.
Yeah, same thing though.
it could just be
Right.
a flat effect. I've leveled up when you have 11 power.
Like-
I don't think that'd be that broken, honestly. I mean, she has no
Like,
spell
I've-
shield. She's a 6-mana champion. That
I
tries
mean,
to
would,
it might be too broken.
It would be kind
Okay,
of
so, like,
broken.
The thing is though, like I think there's some cheese stuff maybe with like Battle Fury that might be strong, but I feel like the standard play of if you slam Kayle and then attack like 4 or 5 wide, I think that's actually fine. And then she could level up if you have like, if Kayle's at 7 and you have 4 units even, because she counts herself, I think,
Mhm.
and you can attack and she leveled up. I think that's fine because you have to
Maybe.
like get there. I don't think you can reliably do that by turn 6.
I think it depends on how
So you-
big the other units on the board are at the time. Like, if you can reasonably deal with most of the rest of the board, most of the rest of the units in that deck being on the board while also not dying immediately to that Kayle, I think that's a reasonable board state for the game to exist in the game. But I think if you're simultaneously having to deal with 5 massive units and then this Kayle that's double attacking you. That seems way too broken.
I mean, you could always drop Kayle to like 0 power or something.
Then she sucks?
No, you
Doesn't
change her
she
to,
already suck?
No, I'm saying you can change her to level up whenever, and you can compensate, power and health with that.
Yeah.
I
Because
feel like this set they
okay,
were pretty
I see.
conservative with a lot of the power level on the cards.
Yeah.
Because of Worlds, maybe. I feel like they knew they were gonna have a decent meta going
has a
in.
very high power level, I think.
You think it's very high power level? I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like there's a couple decent cards, but I feel like
Aatrox.
it's not broken.
Aatrox?
It's
I
not.
don't know how to feel about Aatrox.
It's
I
not
don't think
broken
Aatrox is
per
that good.
se. I think he kind of is. I mean,
It's so expensive.
I was trying. I was playing with him with Shurima in auction. You get access to deny. It's like the main way you beat the Demacia decks. You just deny the 8 mana spell. But you get access to so many like cheap units, and you can just strike so much with the equipments. Especially like the 3/2 that makes you just equip the bloodletters. Just keep equipping a lot of shit in your Darkin thralls, and you play Aatrox on 6. On 7, you can generally most likely just play the World Ender on round 7 if you have like 0 spell mana. You just play it, he levels up. If you get to assemble like 1 or 2 Darkins, you just start winning the game. And like Joral as a 0 cost unit is just really good. He starts dominating the board because he's like a 10/10. And he heals the Nexus for like every strike when he comes down. I think one thing I've learned about like playing a lot of Ryze and Aatrox, healing the Nexus is a very powerful effect. Like, I don't know if he's actually broken, but I think he's really good.
So the one thing with Aatrox is just how expensive World Ender is. And like, I brought up like the high cost finishers from last 2 sets a bit ago. This is what made me think of that. Is because if you're casting this for like 10 mana, like 9 mana or higher, I think. I don't know if that's good enough. It's a really powerful effect. If you can play it and resolve it, it's really good. But in recent times, there haven't been expensive cards that you can play like that.
I was right there with you, and then I thought about it differently.
Okay.
I realized it's not the finisher card that you're supposed to be playing when your Aatrox in your board is already set up. It is your get out of jail free card once you've lost your board and all you have is a bunch of equipment and a couple Darkin Thralls or whatever else is left. You set up a new board with a bunch of random shit, then you slam it and you have a whole bunch of Darkin all of a sudden. Maybe
You
that's
play
too
an aggressive
hopium,
deck and then you
Like,
just
but I don't know about an aggressive deck necessarily, but I don't think it's supposed to be like the I end the game button for Aatrox. It can function that way, but I think Aatrox is supposed to be like enough of a threat on his own. And like with the other stuff that you're doing with the deck, because presumably you've got a couple 4/3 Thralls or a Zolani on the board, something. That should be enough of a threat to like keep you going to the point where they're forced to remove shit, and then you should just have enough. Like if you set up 2 units with a Darkin weapon, and then you use the World Ender, that should be good enough to end the game at that point. I think it's like a FTR light.
So my biggest problem with like all the new decks is there's 3 things I'm worried about. How are we beating Red Gwen? How are we like not dying to just Red Gwen killing us? Because a lot of decks can't survive against that deck. How are we beating Kayn and the cultists? I mean, like specifically the blooming cultists. Like how are we hitting like stopping the elusive from just whacking us 5 times and killing us? And then how are we stopping Seraphine Bar from just doing really dumb shenanigans and killing us? And like if we don't have answers to at least 2 of those 3, I'm like not interested most of the time. That's at least how I feel when I'm looking at these decks. And Aatrox feels like it doesn't do any of those 3. Like that's just like my
Aatrox Shurima, like Aatrox Shurima feels like it might actually have it. Because you have all the strike spells.
Really?
It's close. Like you can deny heroin.
Shurima's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like,
Shurima's
You can deny herring. You get to like both the 3 drops, the 3 mana strike spells, you can deal with like back row enemies. You get access to Deny, you get access to Auction. Auction with Bloodletter is very OP. It's like not bad.
Yeah. When you were talking about that, that's what made me think like maybe it's not so bad because that's like a reasonable shell for Aatrox.
And like every time Aatrox strikes, if it's either like attacking, blocking, or using his champion spell, and one thing I've learned about playing like Kayn Vayne so much is these Darkins, you're very likely to just have the champion spell as soon as you play the first part. He just heals you. He just keeps healing you. It's kind of good.
Yeah. So you think his champion spell is good? I feel like it's kind of meh because he's just gonna kill himself.
I think it's decent. Like you obviously like almost never use all 3 parts, but it's just single combat. Like heals you, progresses your world ender, makes it like happen faster, you know. And like if Aatrox dies, it's not the end of the world. You can just equip his weapon to something, and then when you cast World Ender, he just appears on the board again.
I mean, yeah,
on a weapon is pretty.
That
good
is really
too.
good.
Oh, right.
No, I think Aatrox has a lot of good
is
late
pretty
game
good.
value. Yeah, I
What
think
do you guys
Aatrox
think
is
of
a good
Ballcocks?
card.
I was waiting for someone to say it. Before we continue, can someone read the flavor text of it? It's very interesting as well. I don't know if anyone has, but it's very
I have
it's
no
very
for the
fitting.
first sentence.
I
It's already.
have,
Yeah, it's who
Wait,
printed
what
this?
is-
Who let this go?
All right. Ballcocks felt the tree's limbs grip the staff inside which he lay dormant. Quickly he gripped back. His life erupted from the darkened staff and coursed through the tree's ancient boughs and branches. There was no heart to control here, no blood to bend. Ballcocks could finally return to his general and atone for all his past transgressions. That was my dramatic
Amazing.
reading. You're
That was
welcome.
great.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
It
banger.
reminds me of Steam's flavor text.
But yeah, Ballcocks is the weapons I think really good.
Yeah.
Himself or itself or their self? Ball? Okay. It's like It's like it's okay as like a
It's an
Darkin,
option.
but yeah, it's an option. It's just like
It's,
not
it's an option.
compared to the
That's-
other
yeah.
ones. It's kind of like a bit underwhelming, I think.
I
But it
would
can
agree.
I mean, the only
definitely-
good ones are like Solani, right?
Yeah, Zolani and Harazi, right?
The Freljord one seems
Yeah.
okay too.
Oh, the Freljord one, yeah. I mean, the Freljord one seems okay, but we don't I guess
was-
actually know how good it is.
So
Wait.
I played. What was I playing? I don't know. I don't remember what I was playing. But I put the Darkin Ballista in something, and I remember being incredibly surprised by how good the Darkin Ballista was in that deck. Oh, it was Rico's Overwhelm deck. That's what it was. I was playing the Overwhelm deck.
Yeah,
I
Naganeka's
actually played
good.
Naganeka like 3 or 4 times and was super happy to play it every single time. Before playing that card and putting it in my deck, I could not think of a scenario where it would be good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which Rico Rex deck was that?
It was the
Which
the
Overwhelm?
Colossus one.
Okay.
Oh,
was it
we
like
love a good
Udyr
Colossus
Reform?
deck.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I also played a good bit of that, and I instantly added the Naganeka card, and it's a banger for
Yeah.
sure. That deck is so fun.
We brought it to
I had a
Aegis.
good time with that deck. I almost brought it.
Yeah.
Aegis was a
Yeah,
disappointment for us this season.
Mhm.
Our
Do we
group
want
is
to talk
kind
a
of
little bit about that?
We had Monte in our group, man.
Yeah.
My team
Oh, were you guys
absolutely
in the same
scammed
group?
our way into Aegis.
We didn't make it out of playoffs this time. We had a disappointing kind of final 2 weeks. I played
Yeah.
really poorly into Mind Splitters. Both times we queued into them, and then we didn't play particularly well at the end. But it happens. It's okay.
I don't know how. We happen to have a really good run. We just kind of, I don't know. We just kind of got there a lot of times. We didn't put a lot of like crazy
Yeah.
time, just because we were juggling a lot of other things. But
Mhm.
we had
It
first
felt
pick
bad for
3
me
weeks in a row.
because yeah,
Must be nice.
it felt kind of bad for me because I was prepping for Worlds because I found the Seraphine Ezreal Bandle CD deck the patch before Seraphine got nerfed, and like I spent most of the patch just learning the deck, learning the matchups, and really just like refining the list, refining the playstyle, and I just didn't want to like show it up in Aegis. Like I ended up bringing it once to 1 week. It performed as it should have, just won the games that it played. But I was just like, I was not into. I was not like practicing the decks that I was registering because those weren't the decks I was intending to bring for Worlds. So like it felt like pretty lackluster, and it made me feel like slight kind of bad because I was not like performing as I should have.
Yeah, we did a shitty run this time. I played like crap. It's okay. We'll do better next time. You guys got really lucky against us, Prodigy. The first run through, we had you guys on the lineup that time. Pat scouted you guys. He was like, they're going to be on Akshan Lee and this, and he's like, we're going to play this and this to beat them. And I was like, all right, bet. And I was the only one who won my match.
Yeah, we kind of said we don't care if people are targeting us, and we think we can just diff it with these decks. And I was the one. I'm not a lead player, so I just said I'll play all the other stuff. So I was jamming Red Gwen every week, and I mean we had first pick 3 weeks in a row. So we just did the two exact lineups with one other thing, and it felt really kind of OP because we never had to like plan for. We could just be really exploitable with our strategy, and like get to dictate every matchup.
Yeah.
So
see, my team kind of had the opposite. We had 3 weeks of second pick, and then it kind of swung around where we had first pick the last 2.5 weeks, something like that. So it was like this weird slingshot effect of when you had your first picks lining up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had
first pick is really
the
good.
last there was a postponed match in our group that they needed to win like 3-0 for us to make it in, and it was like slowly drippy because like the matches happened over like 3 days or something. So we barely snuck in with exact set matches and a better game tiebreaker.
Pog.
Wow.
Shotox, how did Bo do?
Did okay.
Did you guys make playoffs? Honestly, I tuned out
we
when I
did,
stopped.
Yeah.
In,
Oh, yeah,
in
you
the
guys-
end, we ended up first seed. Yeah.
You
Okay.
picked Bass Pro or something, right?
Yeah, we're facing Bass Pro Shops in the top 16.
Of course you did. So you gave us the real finals match in round one. Bless.
Yeah.
They didn't want to
Then we're
make
gonna
sure
face,
they didn't want to risk
Shikate
it
next.
missing out.
Yeah,
They
we
sweep
don't
Red
want to,
Phone.
we're doing it for content, right?
Absolutely. It's for the content.
Yeah.
If you lose, you can just say it was for the content.
I owe Red after what I did the first season, so, it's only fair.
What did you do the first season?
I 3-0'd the finals.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait, I never knew that.
I
It
forgot
was a
about
very
that.
interesting set.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was like on
it's
stream
better
and
than
everything,
getting
and I
three
sat
good
down.
dragons.
Yeah.
We just looked
Yeah.
and we said as long as we don't queue into conch, we're good to go.
Yeah, I think I remember like checking the stream before like the last match, and I think I remember seeing Red in the chat saying, "Please God, I need more content. Don't let him win this one or something."
That sounds like Red. Oh boy.
But yeah, so
Aegis is good fun though.
yeah, Aegis is fun. We're facing Bass Pro Shops. I think PCP's facing Is it Conscious Team?
No.
Or is that
No.
that's
Oh,
facing Casper.
that's the one
facing
above you,
Casper
right?
is.
Yeah. I think the next one.
I'm facing Conscious Team,
and then you, yeah. No,
or
you're on TA, right? So
Yeah.
I think you got the mirror match. Oh no, the other
Yeah.
TA.
no, we're other
other
TA picked
TA.
each other.
Yeah, the
That's,
other TA had the
Boomers and
team
Mind
play.
Splitters, I think.
Yeah,
don't play
yeah,
Conscious
yeah.
until
And
the
then you
Final
guys
Four.
got Conscious.
I'm playing Targon Valley.
Yeah, everyone should do their pick'ems and put Conscious Team because he said he'd give 1% of his winnings to whoever puts him for their pick'ems.
Wait, there's pick'ems?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
pick'ems?
Yeah. Red posted
Red
pick'ems.
dropped the
and
pick'ems.
Yeah, whoever gets it right gets a free entry next season. So
What?
Yeah.
I gotta go do this.
yeah, and if you
What
pick
I will
if you
say-
pick Targon's Valley, you get a free $1 from Conch if he wins or something, you know.
Okay.
I think Conch scarred me personally.
Was it that bad?
And I'm sure the rest of my team.
Dude, he
Yeah,
3
just-
us with dragons.
demolished us all with dragons. It was not close. Like none of the sets were like, oh yeah, we're about to get there. We're gonna beat Conch. No, he just he plowed through us all.
I had a good
I
matchup into
don't
him. I was the
understand.
first person to go on our team. I actually had a favorable into him, and I just did not draw what I needed to. It was either that or I got. It was it just didn't go well. I think I was favored on paper, but as soon as I lost, we knew the other two decks, the other two lineups just got rolled, and I was the only one who had a chance of stopping him. And I went out first, and we were just uh oh, and yeah.
So it was your fault, is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah, I was playing
You
the
let
Ash. I was
Conch
playing some kind
go.
of Freljord flock deck into dragons, and so I should have been pretty good. But yeah, it didn't work.
Wait, really?
What?
Flock?
It was so. It was. I was
Wait,
playing some
wait.
kind of flock.
Dragons.
Well, it was. I was. I
It's
can't remember if
Swain.
I was playing.
Trundle Swain?
Well, was I playing Swain, or was I playing
No.
Ash LeBlanc? I can't remember. I was playing some
What
kind of.
year was this? It was like 2020.
No, this was season 2. This was in the spring.
Yeah. It was.
I think I was playing some kind of. I think I was just playing a flock deck. Maybe I wasn't playing Freljord. I don't know. I remember having
There's no way you were
had
playing
disintegrates
Freljord
and
flock.
stuff. I definitely had
Wow.
disintegrates in my deck somewhere.
You
'cause
had
that card was
disintegrates
broken.
for sure.
But I forget what region I was playing.
I'll be honest with you guys. Before the gauntlet, I had not seen Ash since last year. Actually, in Dragons, I have not seen these decks once, and I play a lot of games.
Wait, didn't Ash get a brief revival with Kindred?
Yeah.
That was a thing 2 weeks ago.
With Kindred?
No,
and
no. I meant Ash Noxus.
People were playing a fair bit of Ash Noxus at the start of last season. Fell off after a week.
I didn't play against these people.
Ash just needs
I almost want-
more than 3 HP, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what Ash
Like,
needs. To not make a crystal arrow on the top of your deck?
No, 4/4 arrow, 4/4
She
Ash.
needs a rotation. Can we talk about rotation?
Is that the
Yeah, we
answer to
can talk
everything?
about
Just
rotation.
get it out of here.
Speaking of rotation,
We'll
and-
deal with you next year.
No.
I gotta head out here in a minute, but you guys keep
I'm not
going.
saying. I'm not saying she needs. I'm not saying she needs to be rotated out. I'm saying she needs help because other cards need to be rotated out so she can
True.
see the light of day.
True.
Eventually, it's just gonna be Ash Nox, and we'll have no choice.
Yeah.
But to finally embrace it.
Katarina will have her 25th buff in a row. We'll get there, boys.
We joke about how many buffs Cat's got, but Ash literally gets buffed every patch. Every patch
Yeah,
they give Ash
something in
Nox
her
a
deck,
buff,
right? Yeah.
and nothing works.
haven't they released new cards in these mid patches for Ash, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one. This one we got the
I mean,
Freljord
it
stuff,
doesn't
right?
really help.
We got a. I don't know if the weapon, the Darkin, will help, but I think it's
That
neat.
it's going to. It's gonna save Ash. Unforgiving Cold in Ash all the time, just because of the Darkin weapon. It'll work. Trust. Oh,
Sure.
Yeah, the year is
We-
2024. Avaros and Hearthguard buffs your deck twice. Cost 2 mana, 5 attack, 10 health. You know.
Assessors
Yeah,
are 2-drop.
There's a
Yeah.
2-drop. Draw 2 cards
5/1.
per 5. Yeah. Crystal Arrow is
People
free
still
and
don't
instantly
play that.
casts when it's drawn. It's
it just casts at the start of next turn
Yeah.
automatically. You don't even have to draw it.
Still loses
Yeah.
to Ash.
still dies to get excited at level 1. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we have to talk about? There's some other stuff. We could talk about rotation, but we didn't really get more information on that. We were told it's going to happen.
we
in
got it
February.
actually.
What do you mean? We got Vladimir
got-
support cards.
Hey,
gotta
that
head
one
out,
drop
guys.
is a
Right,
really
take
good
care.
card. All right, later.
Yeah,
Later Prodigy.
it's
This
a
is
really good
less
card
than,
for
right?
like what 2 months.
It's a good overwhelm aggro card, man. I'm telling you, that's the
Maybe.
sauce.
Yeah,
Okay, that one drops pretty
I
good.
think it's okay. It grows. Anything
Yeah.
that grows continuously is reasonable, right?
it is good, but it's also funny that they're putting Vladimir support a few months before they're gonna
Yeah,
send him
it
to the
was-
ether.
It was
Well,
extremely
maybe
funny.
they heard.
It's the last dance.
Maybe they
Yeah.
heard the community outcry and they decided to change their minds and leave Vladimir in.
Yeah, it was funny because those two cards were also the first cards I saw revealed, and like I just saw a spell at Vlad's face, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? These idiots don't even know what they're rotating.
Okay, so like when they made the first article, they just mentioned
Yeah.
champions. Like, did they actually confirm they
Yes.
were going to rotate these
Yes,
champions
yes.
specifically, or they just mentioned like
They mentioned that
oh,
these three are
makes no
part
fucking
of the list that are going,
Yeah. It
and
was Vladimir, TF, and who?
Irelia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we did get a lot of news with the new.
I
the new
thought
article, right?
yeah.
Not really.
Yeah,
I thought they just mentioned like different champions for like different purposes.
Mm.
the new
Yeah,
article's just
maybe.
kind of like saying, "Hey, don't worry, guys. We're gonna do this properly, and there'll be no issues."
Well,
And it's going to happen in February.
yeah, they said, February. They said there's going to be a ranked ladder for it, and
Mhm.
when that ranked ladder for it is happening.
At the
And-
end of every expansion, right? Or was it at the start? I
Yeah,
don't
so like same thing, right? Like, or no, before a new expansion. So yeah, at the end, basically, I guess.
remember. Okay.
So, and then that's going to be like a on and off kind of ladder thing, which is a bit strange. But I heard
Yeah.
that was supposedly like a hot topic internally, and they're going to keep an eye on it to see how people like it. And there was
Okay.
something else important mentioned, but I can't remember what. But yeah, I mean, it was like there was
They
more.
also mentioned they heard us.
Yeah.
They're like, we
Oh,
hear
yeah,
you,
we hear
you don't want rotations, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Mhm.
Right. I
I
think
mean, I want
rotation's good.
rotations. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I want to
oh,
understand rotation.
They
I also-
they
I
did
don't-
also
okay.
say it'll be every year, like Hearthstone, basically, for anyone who knows. Every year,
Yeah. Okay.
they'll-
That was the
they'll
one big thing.
rotate. Yeah,
Oh,
So, like,
well,
things that
importantly,
are
it's
rotated out-
curated.
can come back and whatnot, right?
Importantly, it's curated and not
Mhm.
by like
Yeah.
year cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not by set. It's
'Cause-
handpicked, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be deleting entire regions if they did that.
And
Thank God.
yeah, and then Felder also stated that like if they feel like they need to change the cadence of rotating, if they feel like they need to rotate every semester or something, they'll do it.
okay.
And yeah, and like Dan Felder was very vocal about the team being committed to like any flaws that they see in the system, they're willing to just change it as soon
Yeah,
as
it's-
possible.
Okay.
Like if they do the rotation and it turns out it wasn't like they thought it would, like it didn't what they thought it would do, they'll just revert the rotation and not do it.
yeah,
again.
it's definitely something new.
But like
right, for them.
they're committed to
Yeah.
trying it out.
It's-
I'm
it's a
down to
project.
try it. I personally would like a more frequent rotation. The
I think
yearly rotation concerns me. I'm sure it'll work. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's not a huge deal either way. But I think like a more frequent rotation spices things up a lot more. It makes things a lot more exciting.
I also feel like there's certain like balance issues that can be solved better with rotation than continually tweaking the same cards. And if they have a year between gaps, there's going to be cards that are like need to be nerfed in the middle of the year that like might have been a mainstay. Like Akshan gets another broken deck included next year. They could just rotate him early, and that'd be like much more elegant than trying to like fiddle with him again halfway through the cycle.
Sure.
Oh boy, we're releasing a new batch of champions. Guess who's good with Akshan?
Doesn't matter. He's going to the can.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Auction to stay.
Release some.
Akshan's not getting
I'm gonna
rotated.
release. I'm gonna release some new synergy cards.
Yeah.
You know, like hey, all of your Landmarks you summoned with 9 countdown now we're at 3 countdown. We're like a week before he's out.
Goodbye, Lysandra. Goodbye, Akshan.
Mhm.
Thralls has been an
Yeah.
unplayable
Wait,
deck for a while.
Lissandra?
He said any landmark with
Thrall?
9 countdown.
Thralls is 9 countdown?
Yeah, when's the last time you played Thralls?
Yeah.
For real?
Look,
Why do you think nobody's playing it?
you know
I
what?
didn't- I did not know this at all.
Come on, Yang.
It's actually 9
Akshan-
countdown.
Akshan just needs his own Draklord Inquisitor.
Yeah, you having a
Archetype's so
Yang's
bad.
losing his shit. Bro, this happened so long
Jesus.
ago. Hanzo
well-
still cries about it today.
What was
Cries
that?
every other
it was
day.
like summer or
Why-
something
Dude,
that happened.
Why did they
Remember
do
when they
this?
released Sands of Time and then bounced around a little bit? They nerfed Sands of Time,
Yeah.
Time
then,
Base was hella broken.
then they nerfed Thralls.
They Sense of Time was the problem, and they just made the 4 mana thing 6 mana because you would break something in a future expansion. I still don't see
And then
what
they
is
nerfed Sands of
breaking.
Time and then nerfed Frozen Thrall.
Be 6 mana. Yeah. What the fuck?
Yep.
Why? I mean, I guess.
No.
Also, sorry guys, I have to head off. I gotta go.
No worries,
Okay.
Tank. Thanks for joining
It's
us.
Thanks
fine.
for joining. Have fun.
All right. I think. Do we have anything else we wanted to talk about?
Mm,
I mean, I already leaked all my secrets to Tank and Prodigy. They can just go in there and get debated by Ryze. I mean, it's all going well. I've wasted
I
their
will say,
next
Ryze
day.
looks so much fun because they
I'm
haven't
joking
released
about
a
that.
new combo card in so long. Right? We had
Yeah.
like TLC and then they nerfed TLC.
Dude, Ryze is so much
I just
fun
think
to
it's
play.
really
Ryze
fucking
is
funny.
so much fun
I
to
think it's
play, man.
really funny that they printed a card that says "I win the game" in Ryze,
Mhm.
but odds are we're not going to see that happen. We are instead going to see the Demacia card that does not say "I win the game" every single game. I'm willing to bet that at least half of all Worlds lethals are through that Demacia card.
Oh.
That's probably a
Alright,
very
you know-
hyperbolic bet, but
You have to give Riot the credit though, because like people were very vocal for so much time that they don't like cards that read "I win the game." I don't like cards that read "I win the game." So they just made a card that reads "Destroy the enemy nexus"
Yeah.
instead. And like the animation is so cool. This like he just Thanos snaps the enemy board, they just get obliterated, just disappear. It's so funny,
Yo,
dude. It's
I
so
can't
funny
wait
when
to
it
see
happens
that.
for the first time. Yeah, everything just gets Thanos snapped. It's so funny.
I love that. I'm
Oh
glad they
my
gave it a
God.
good animation. There's nothing more disappointing than playing a really huge effect and just having nothing happen.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the best animation is probably the new Zolani flipping and just transforming everything. 'Cause
Oh.
it's a lot of dopamine involved. Like she's like some shackles when she's transforming.
Yeah.
There's some shackles around her, and then when she transforms the followers, she does the shackles around them, and they transform. And
So she has a level up
awesome.
animation?
Cool.
Hype.
Nice.
Yeah.
it's all like Cam 4, huh?
That's what I was thinking of.
Kayle's champion spell just makes like the whole board glow, like her ulti in League. It's so like there's a lot of good animations in this set. It's
Awesome.
nice.
I would imagine they put extra effort into it this set because it is the world set, right? And they want everything to look pretty and
Yeah.
flashy for spectators. It seems like they're taking the spectator experience into consideration a lot more recently. Even going back to the UI UX changes that they made with the swords and shields and stuff. People complained about those at the time, but I know as a caster, I'm very grateful for them, and I know people have told me it's much easier to watch now. So
To be honest, I don't see those. I don't notice them
exactly, exactly. But remember how much of a fuss everybody caused when those came
at
out?
all. I mean, people are making jokes about it, but yeah.
I've used the Oracle's Eye way less because of the indicator on top of the max.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, okay, to be fair, the Oracle's Eye is bugged in certain ways for some reason.
Yeah, that's because the Oracle's Eye is a very, very
Yeah.
complex piece of coding.
Yeah.
That they said that they had to rewrite the game several times to get the Oracle's Eye to work. When they were launching the game and doing like, I've seen interviews of them saying like the Oracle's Eye was a pain in the ass to make work. It took ages. So
It's probably because of like random cards.
What?
Or random generation, like shrooms and make
it disables with shrooms and make it range.
just-
You can't mouse over.
Yeah, it's probably why it's disabled with random stuff.
Yeah. Okay, well, I should remind everybody to like, comment, and subscribe, but, you know, the video's over. If you made it this far, you're already like, commented, and subscribed. So thank you guys for watching. That's going to be it from us this week. We'll hopefully be back next week again with some more Worlds news. Catch y'all later.